Hi there guys, and welcome back to Jonesy's question time. So it's not going to be a long one this time because I actually only have 4 questions. For whatever reason, it's been a bit more quiet on the question time front this week, which is fair enough. That's bound to be expected because I don't think you've let me down yet any weeks, to be honest. So this is the first time we've had less than 5 questions. So just going to rattle through these fairly quickly. And we start off with Jack95HD, who asked me, which 3 clubs do you want to be promoted to the Premier League? Well, I'm hoping that I'm allowed to say Leeds United as one of those, because I would quite like to see them promoted back to the Premier League. And then other than that, I'm quite a traditionalist when it comes to sort of football and everything. So seeing a team that's been up there once before, and kind of, I don't like using the term like when people say, a club deserves to be in, the Premier League, because ultimately if they're not there, then they don't deserve to be there at that particular moment. But for me, I don't know, a team like Blackburn, a team that's won the Premier League before, shouldn't really be kind of struggling at the bottom of the Championship, really. So I wouldn't mind seeing Blackburn back there. I don't really have any particular, affiliation with the club or anything, but a club like that with quite a bit of history to it, they used to have, under Jack Walker, obviously a very passionate owner and someone who really truly cared about the club. So having someone like them back in the Premier League definitely couldn't do it any harm. And then after that, it's a bit difficult really with the Championship at the moment. I think personally I would probably go for Ipswich, mainly because I love Mick McCarthy. I think he's such a great character, and he's someone who has so much passion for the game and truly tells it how it is every single time. And yeah, again, I have no problem with Ipswich. Again, a club with fantastic history. Obviously under the very great and one of my kind of footballing heroes, Bobby Robson. They had some great times back in the day. So seeing a club like that back in the Premiership again, not traditional in the sense that they've spent a hell of a lot of time up in the top division, but they've definitely had some good times. And again, they're a side that really, when you look at the size of them, they do have a passionate crowd. They've got a really nice stadium in Portman Road and everything. Got a decent team there, a good manager. I think they'd be a team that, would do fairly well in the Premier League, I think. So if I'm allowed to have Leeds, Jack, then I'll definitely have Leeds, of course, and then probably Blackburn and Ipswich as my 3. So thank you very much for your question there. A bit of a difficult one there, because it's sometimes difficult to choose teams that you're not really too fond of. But yeah, I'll go with those 3, Jack. Where should we go next? Shall we have a bit of a story, guys? Is it story time corner? I think it is. Because my good friend Lee, Future Law on YouTube, has... oh wait, what has he asked me? Where's the question gone? He has asked me something about a story. Hang on, I can find it. It's somewhere here. Where is it? Here it is. Duck, pigeon or a squirrel? Can you pick one and tell me a 100-word story about whichever you choose? Well, do you know what, Lee? Because I'm feeling, pretty good tonight, I'm going to tell you a story about all 3. So once upon a time, there was a duck called Brian, a pigeon named Dave, and a squirrel called Nancy. One morning, around the breakfast table, Nancy asked where her nuts were, as it was the end of winter. They all looked nervously at each other, whilst Dave ate his crunchy nut cereal. Then Brian turned round to Nancy and said, "But Nancy, you don't have any nuts. You're a girl." They all laughed at the mediocre joke, and they all lived happily ever after in their extremely dull fantasy world, better known as Chris's mind. And I think you'll find that is 96 words, Lee. So, yes, there's your story, Lee, and I hope you enjoyed that. I am available for various, children's parties or any parties for storytelling, any poetry, I can do all that shit. Anyway, moving on. What have we got next? Someone has asked about my university experience. Whereabouts has that one gone? Herbie Howard said, "How was your experience at university? Did you enjoy it? And what would your advice be for anyone starting university? Great question, Herbie. Really, really good question. Yeah, I spent 3 years at university studying sports journalism. That was at Huddersfield University. God, that was back in 2008 when I started there. Well, first of all, my experience at university was, on the whole, a pretty good one, really. On the first of all, I'll start with the education side of things. The course itself was really, really good. Out of all the universities that I was hoping to go to, Huddersfield kind of put forward the best education and the best actual course. I was going to go to Trinity, which is actually literally just up the road from where I live in Horsforth, and my other option was Sunderland University, but their sports journalism courses weren't really suited to what I wanted to do, whereas Huddersfield really had it all, and it really was great. They covered everything from broadcast journalism to written journalism, print journalism, doing online stuff. They also broadened it out to just media journalism in general, talking about film journalism. And yeah, it was really just what I kind of wanted to do, really. I really particularly enjoyed the broadcast side of things. The equipment and the studios they had there were pretty much second to none. I mean, the TV studios they had there were just amazing, really. They were just out of this world. And the radio studios they had three just top-notch radio studios with all up-to-date equipment. So that kind of stood me in good stead for what I thought was going to be a career in journalism. And yeah, it was really good. Met some really great people on my course. Still speak to quite a few of them now. Had some great tutors as well. Chris Irvine, who is a writer for the Times. He specialises in mainly sort of rugby union, rugby league. People may have seen him on the rugby league. Is it called Back Chat? I think on Sky Sports. Is often on that. Also had Peter Smith, who is a reporter for Sky Sports News. You may have seen him a few times on Gillette Soccer Saturday. Dave Davenport, who used to work for ITV on Calendar and various places. He was a really great tutor. So yeah, the course itself was top notch. It was just a shame that at that particular time it was such a hard time to get into sports journalism anyway. Ultimately it didn't really work out for me. And looking at everyone else that's been on the course, I think there's only really 2 or 3 out of the sort of 30 people that were on the course that actually got into that particular career path. So it kind of shows just how hard it is. So yeah, the course itself was fantastic. On the social side of things, like I just mentioned, I did make some really great friends there. But on the whole, I didn't really make the most of it. I mean, first of all, Huddersfield, I don't know if you've ever been there, but when it comes to a night out, there's not really much to it. So yeah, I didn't really have that many nights out. The very first year at Huddersfield, we were in Hall to Residence there, and we're in a place called Storrs Hall, which was a couple of miles from the actual campus. It's actually, I think it was like something like an old mental institution or something. It's basically where Huddersfield Town used to train before they moved to Canalside. And it was just way out of the way. It was a really long bus journey away, so getting up early for that wasn't great, and coming home after a long day at uni wasn't really enjoyable. Yeah, the social life up there wasn't particularly brilliant, to be honest. And I think just myself as well, I blame myself for the way that I was there socially. I didn't really get as involved as what I should have done. If I had one regret, I would go back and do university again and just try and get involved more and get to know a lot more new people instead of just kind of making acquaintances here and there. So yeah, it's kind of going into the second half of that question, advice for anyone starting university. Make an effort. I mean, don't sort of go out of your way and go out of your comfort zone, but just try and make that little extra effort just to get to know people, kind of get involved in if there's any clubs or any sporting activities or anything like that. If someone says, do you want to go out tonight, don't just kind of lock yourself away in your room. say yes, get out there, meet new people, have some fun. And just enjoy it, because it really is a great, well, whether it's 3, 4, 5 years, however long you're going to be there, it is a completely different experience, and it's your first real experience of getting kind of your independence away from home, staying away from home, cooking, cleaning, doing everything for yourself, meeting new people, going out and about, having new experiences. It really is just something completely different when you're 18 years of age and leaving school. So yeah, the one thing that I kind of regret from my experience from it is not kind of getting involved as much, and maybe just shutting myself away a little bit. I think being in a long-term relationship at that point didn't help, and having a long-term relationship with someone wasn't ideal, I suppose. But yeah, just advice, just enjoy it. Don't try not to mourn too much about work and the workload that you get. And a lot of people say that the first year of university doesn't count and that you can get away with everything. And although to a certain extent that is true, try and do your best. Just go for it and do what you feel you can do. Don't kind of put things aside. I mean, enjoy yourself as much as you can, but just have a go at the workload and the exams or the coursework that you set, because it will be so much better for you in the long run. It really will. So yeah, that's a fantastic question, Herbie. And anyone out there that is sort of getting ready to start university, yeah, that's the advice that I would give to you. Just enjoy it. Really, seriously, just enjoy it. It really is a great time. And what else have we got? Tom Roach, I think, asked me a question. He asked me, what is your favourite Phoenix Nights moment? Wow, there's quite a lot. Really, there's really quite a lot from that. Something that comes to mind is probably at the end of the episodes. I don't know if you remember, but they used to have the auditions for people that were going to be appearing at the Phoenix Club, and one particular one was an elderly dancing couple. I think they were trying to do like the flamenco or something, and it was just really, really poor. But like all the cast members sort of sat there as if they were auditioning them. And watching them, they were like genuinely laughing. It wasn't just acting. You could tell they were genuinely laughing at this poor couple dancing on stage. Yeah, that's something that always made me and my parents laugh anyway. Then of course there's Sammy Snake. That episode in general was a brilliant one when they had that fun day at the club when they were trying to reopen it. So many funny moments from that. But yeah, trying to the guy just try to convince Brian that this bouncy castle with 10-foot cock and balls on it could be changed into this giant snake thing. Yeah, that was quite memorable. Keith Ladd, of course, the memorable Keith Ladd. A little bit of controversy with that, but yeah, Keith Ladd was fun. The Bolton football hooligans. How far away are them? That was a good moment. The racist band, Send the Buggers Back. That was fun. That was Tim Healy, actually. Famous from Alfie's Same Pet and Benidorm and various other things. He was the lead singer in that. But that was quite funny. The Broom Handle, Mauser. Paddy shooting Max's brother with that one in the field. And for me, it'll always sort of come back to this, but I'm getting the word nonce. Yeah, but if you haven't watched Phoenix Nights, all that will have meant absolutely nothing to you. But those of you that have, yeah, those have got to be my favourite moments. And then seeing them live earlier this year was just magical. I mean, the first time round obviously wasn't as magical. Seeing Ted Robbins have a heart attack live on stage. But getting to see it again and just seeing all those beloved characters on stage was, yeah, just something you think you'd never see. And, such a legendary TV show for me anyway. Such an iconic TV show. Seeing all those characters on stage was, yeah, something I'll never forget. And it was, yeah, that was quite a good memory. So those are some of my favourite moments from Phoenix Nights, Tom. So thank you very much for that question. And that's it, guys. That's, yeah, definitely the shortest question time I've done yet, about 15 minutes. So I'm all out of questions, so it's even more important this time round that you do get them in, because I don't really want to be doing shorter question time, you know, episodes every time now. So yeah, if you've missed out this week asking a question, then please do leave them below in the comment section, or on any of the other question time videos, or at my Twitter at ChrisJonesLUFC using the hashtag Jonesy's question time. That'd be much appreciated. And if you've just been one that's kind of been watching along and hasn't asked a question yet, then, you know, don't be afraid. You can ask me whatever you want. There's literally no limitations to any questions you can ask. I mean, you've seen from this episode, you know, we've had story time, we've had Phoenix Nights, we've had football, and we've had university. So literally just ask me anything you want to ask me, anything in the world, and I will answer it. So yeah, get your questions in, guys, and thank you very much for watching. If it's your first time here, please do leave a like and a subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.